All right.
Yo.
You nice and comfortable there, man?
Not yet, man. I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, hurry up. We have shit to do.
We got shit to get through.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. We've got all the European football going down.
Big games.
And then we've got the fucking run-in for the top 5.
Yeah, which is super tight at the moment.
Dude, more than super tight. It could be 4 different teams could drop out.
Yeah.
So...
And we got 6 teams fighting for 4 spots.
And I think we've done our little prediction for it, which we'll go through.
Yep.
We'll see how it ends up. But
yep.
You never know, right? Different fucking teams are just winning this year.
Yep.
So, let's jump into some gossip.
All right, let's do it.
Because this week, some big shit went down. Obviously, the worst kept secret in football was announced.
Yep.
Alexander-Arnold is gone. He's confirmed that he's going over to Real Madrid. And for not as much money as everyone would think.
What do you mean?
$150,000 after taxes.
A week?
A week.
Huh.
It's not as much as you think.
I know with Real Madrid, when they do sign frees, they do give him a big sign-on bonus. It'd be a nice sign-on bonus.
Yeah, I think he would, but fuck. I don't know. If you're not earning enough money, fair enough, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, he also has the chance to marry Jude.
Yeah, I saw that.
His goddamn work wife.
I saw that. That was cute, eh?
I wonder who the female is.
Definitely Trent. But yeah, like you said, this was the worst kept secret, and I think he has done it the right way. I think he waited until you guys had won the title to announce it. He could have announced, but to be fair, he could have announced it 3 weeks ago. It wouldn't have mattered because you guys have pretty much already wrapped up the title.
Look, obviously, everyone's going to be disappointed by it. To be fair, he does look heartfelt in his video. I'll give him that.
Yes.
He wasn't a dick about it and just said, yeah, I'm leaving, and didn't say anything.
Like like when Sami Nasri left Arsenal.
Yeah, but at least he
I'm leaving for money and titles.
Yeah. I'm leaving because I want money. All right. Well,
and I want to win something.
Fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. He's dropped a video. He said that he's going. Obviously, every Liverpool fan's gone nuts about it, burning jerseys and saying they're going to take down his mural. I don't know. I mean, the question is, do you keep the mural after he leaves?
No, you take it down.
I mean...
You take it down. You know what I mean?
Do you classify him as a great for the club? I think that's the big question.
You wouldn't classify...
I don't think he got to that status. I think he comes as like a local hero, like a local kind of kid that's done well for the club.
He's got highlights, and he's got highlights on him. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not going to put him in the same status as Jordan Henderson even.
No.
You can't,
no.
right?
Well, Hendo was the captain.
That's what I mean, but that's what he was in line to be.
Yeah.
He was in line to be the captain.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk, I think, sits above him as a hero for the club.
Definitely.
Mohamed Salah sits above him for a hero of the club.
Yeah.
I get that he was a junior and he kind of came through the academy and he'd been there for 20 years, pretty much.
Would you put him like in line with say a Jamie Carragher?
No.
Jamie Carragher more?
Yeah, 100%. Because I think Jamie Carragher just played for us as a club.
That's true.
He stayed there for longer.
Yep.
He lived and breathed the club.
Yep.
And I just don't think Trent has done that by leaving. And I give him all the credit. I think he did very well for us. But you've got to remember that he copped a lot of slack while he was playing with us about how he wasn't defensive enough.
Yep.
He wasn't a good right back. And everyone stuck behind him.
Yeah.
Right? He's had this offer from Real Madrid. And I think he knew that he wasn't good enough that if he extended his contract, Real would have still taken him. Think about all the players that did that. Harry Kane extended his contract before he left Tottenham. Right? Jack Grealish extended his contract with Aston Villa before he left to go to Man City. So these players that are classified as greats for their club and never been forgotten extended their contracts and then went on to big teams. Right? Because he knew that the club would benefit from it. Alexander-Arnold hadn't done that. Now there is an argument that maybe FSG should have acted quicker. Right, and extended out his contract earlier, and obviously we had problems around new manager coming in. Not sure how Slott's going to go. Obviously, proven that he is a great manager and was the kind of right choice for the club after he's won the league. But at the same time, I think Trent could have done something there and said, "I'll do a year or 2-year extension." So that you guys, which he could have done in January, he could have went to Real Madrid and said, listen, I'm extending my contract for a year with Liverpool. If you guys really want me, come and pay the 50 million, 60 million so the club gets something out of it. And he didn't do that. But all these other players that cop shit have done it. They did the right thing by the club. But as a junior, I think that's where he loses his kind of status. If he'd extended and then Real Madrid came and bought him, I think everyone would have sat there and said, "What a player we had."
Yeah.
But didn't, and I don't think that you should get that status.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No,
So-
I don't think he's not at that status. No, I think that I think all those points you put up pretty much resonate.
Well,
That-
it's just
There's levels to this game.
Well, there is. There's levels to how you're going to be remembered,
Mm.
and you're just going to be remembered as the kid that came in and look, won trophies for us. Yes, never the leader of the team, never the player that promoted the club in the sense of this is the best place to be. He thinks that Real Madrid is a level above Liverpool, and now all I hope from this is that we get to verse them in the Champions League and we show them what Liverpool can do next season. That's just what I hope now.
I think a lot of people will be hoping for that.
I wouldn't mind fucking seeing Mohamed Salah just skin the shit out of him in defence. It's the opposite side. Opposite side, but just switch Salah around for a second so you can skin him. Because, it's disappointing.
Yep.
And rightly so, all the fans should be upset.
Mm.
Right? They should be. So anyone that comes out saying, the Liverpool fans should, clap him off and give him the respect he deserves. It's like, no, they shouldn't. It's a tribal culture football.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's one thing that I have heard a lot of lately is tribal football, and he's the prime example of should it be tribal, should it be business,
And I mean, to be fair, if you think about who are the biggest rivals for Liverpool in the last 10 years,
City,
Man City and Real Madrid. Right, Real Madrid in the Champions League. How many times have they broken our hearts in the tournament?
I think 3 times in about 6 years or something.
Yeah. and then Man City.
Yeah.
They've broken our hearts plenty of times within the league.
Yeah.
So look, it's a move, and it's right that our fans are getting upset about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it's happened now, so
Well,
what stage of grieving are you in right now?
I'm in the acceptance stage. It's been going on for a while, and I've accepted that piece of crap is leaving, and we've got a new right back coming.
Well, you got Conor Bradley, but you definitely need
Bradley's
someone.
a good backup.
Good
right?
He'd be the backup.
He has good games, but I just don't think he's consistent enough or senior enough to have every game.
He's only 19.
Yeah.
And he's got plenty of time.
Well, I mean, look, he's had good games, right? Put Mbappe in his back pocket in a game. Good for him.
Yep.
But again, and we'll get into it against you guys this weekend. He really struggled.
Nice.
Yeah, I killed that thing. He really struggled in that game.
He did.
He got skinned a few times.
Yeah.
So there's levels to the kind of gameplay, and we need a higher level play.
Yeah.
So we'll see who we bring in.
I think we'll go through that like closer to the end of the season, maybe after the season in like transfer rumors.
For sure.
Whatnot,
We'll see what positions that we need to fill.
Yeah.
Because we're obviously going to get an overhaul. I think players are going to leave and players are going to come.
Yeah.
So, but we'll go through in more detail in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Next on it, and this is a kind of a heartbreaking one, dude. Luton Town. I mean,
the old orange and yellow, or whatever the fuck.
They'd never been in the Premier League before. Right?
Till last year?
Till the 2023-24 season.
Yeah.
Is the first time that they've made it into the Premier League. It was like the biggest thing for Luton. This is the greatest thing for the club. They've now been relegated from the Championship.
Yeah, bro, the double relegation. So
yeah, and from memory, they signed a whole bunch of players when they came to the Premier League.
They tried to sign players to get a bit of depth, a bit of experience. Didn't work, obviously, because they got relegated straight away. They yo-yoed themselves straight away.
Yep. And then have proceeded to get relegated once again from the Championship.
Well, this happened with Sunderland, right? They got relegated from Premier League to...
pretty much the same problem, financials.
Yep.
Right? They had too many players on just too big of a contracts.
Yep.
So...
And I'm assuming that carried on into the Championship.
Well, it does, because, I mean, what are you going to do? You've got them on 3-4 year contracts. You can't just be like, well, see ya.
Well, that's why they give you the win. It's windfall.
Yeah, so as long as it's in the contract,
yeah,
that they can let you go. That's the problem with Sunderland. Had Jack Rodwell on there getting paid like
100 grand.
Yeah, 100 grand a week in the Championship.
Yeah,
which is so far above the average. It's not
exactly.
funny.
Yeah. But yeah, look, sucks for Luton Town. Maybe they might have their own little show, like till Sunderland till I die. And then look at Sunderland now. Sunderland is playing in they're in the playoffs. They play Saturday night.
They could be back.
So they like exactly right. They could be back.
But
So
maybe
Luton Town have some inspiration.
I think Luton's title could just be Luton. We fucked up because that's what they've done, right?
Hey, double relegation is not a good thing, no.
And then look, I think to follow on from kind of what we're talking about previous weeks,
Real Madrid again.
Yeah, back to Real Madrid and how much of a scumbag. Well, I mean, to be fair, Alexander Arnold's also Real Madrid.
Yeah,
they're really just in the news lately because look, we all heard they blocked the move for Ancelotti to go to the Brazil team,
which was odd because he's leaving. So
yeah, and well, I think it's more of a way for Perez to pay him the money,
which is nuts. Like they're the richest club in the world. Like Ancelotti's done so much for them, and you just don't want to pay him his contract. Like I find that nuts. But anyway,
rich people, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Rich people shit.
Yeah. So now he's found a home, and he's agreed a deal. So he's going to be moving to Roma. I think it's a great move for him, to be fair.
So now he's coached AC Milan, Juventus, and now will be Roma. He's coached 3 really big teams in Italy.
I mean, if he can win with Roma, what's that? So he'll have 3 Italian league titles?
If he wins with Roma, he would have... Well, no, he's got more because he won heaps with Milan.
So he will have with 3 separate
teams. Yeah, which is like crazy. That's crazy.
Well, it's ridiculous. It shows how good he is as a manager, right?
And I'm just having a look at the table. So now they're currently 5th, but they're on even points with 4th and 6th, which is Juventus and Lazio.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can push into that Champions League spot, and you got Ancelotti at your back, hey, that's not bad.
Well, I think there's only one team that he failed with, realistically.
Everton.
Yeah,
that was it.
It's the only team.
I mean, to be fair, you would need Superman to fucking coach that team.
Yeah. Or David Moyes.
Moisey for the Boiseys.
Moisey for the Boiseys. So yeah, look, so he's signed a contract with Roma. The contract goes out to 2028. The motherfuckers are getting paid $9 million a season.
Excellent. Love that for him.
Yeah, good for him. Oh, he deserves it.
He's earned
He
it.
deserves it. Oh, look, I mean, I'd find it pretty hard to argue that he's not the best manager of all time.
I've said that for a while now. When you look at that, he's won league titles in the 5 big countries. So England, Chelsea, obviously Italy, Milan, and Juve. Then you got Spain. Yeah, he's got Real Madrid. Then you got Germany. He was at Bayern. And then you got PSG when he was at Paris. When he was in France.
So he's won every league. He's proven that he can win. He's won the most winning Champions League manager.
Champions Leagues, I think,
of all time.
Yeah,
right, some of those with a ridiculous Real Madrid team.
Still counts.
Still, you got to win it.
Yep, exactly right.
And other managers have gone with a ridiculous Real Madrid team and done fuck all.
Yeah, or you even look at like Guardiola, who had that ridiculous Barca team he won 2, and then he won nothing with Bayern, and then he's won 1 with City, and they've all had ridiculous teams.
Yes.
Ancelotti
spends more money than what Ancelotti does.
Woo, fuck yeah, he does.
So, to be fair, I would say that he's probably the greatest manager.
I would as well.
Yeah.
This also is big for Serie A because now you're getting one of the former sons back into Italy. You know, he's gone out. He's literally ventured all over the world since he left AC Milan. I think in 2009 when he came to Chelsea. So what's that now? It'll be about 16 years he's gone away from Italy. And now he's back. So it'll be good for Serie A.
No, 100%. I like the move. I want to see him get a job. I'd like to see him get his payout too, but that's
that's a whole different story.
No chance
with that fucking piece of shit.
And then we've got an interesting one, right? So League One. The Farmers League, some would argue.
We will talk about that later.
So Paris FC have been promoted to League One now.
That's cool.
Now, the interesting thing about that is that Paris FC, they have a home stadium that sits directly next door to PSG. So I'm just going to quickly put it up on the screen.
And just so everybody knows, this is not doctored.
No, this is exactly how it looks. So you've got PSG on the right, and then on the left you have Paris FC. Right. So now you've got 2 professional teams that pretty much share a home ground.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's insane.
It's sick. Yeah.
It's divided by one road. I can't wait to see these derby matches. They'll just be ridiculous. What do they do? Barricade each side of the road and let the fans be on either side?
I guess so. Like
because
I don't know what they would do there.
Because it is just a nuts situation to have a stadium so close.
And another thought I had, so you know how like EPL, like the 12 midnight games, there's like 5 games on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Would they have to work out who's playing between those two now? You couldn't have both games on at the same time or even on the same day.
You know how many people would be located in the area?
Yeah,
It would
bro, it'd be out of control.
Yeah, we don't have enough police for this.
And we also don't have enough bars.
Yeah. And then like the Paris fans come out as the PSG fans come out. They just kill each other. Yeah, they're not even playing each other.
I've seen that. That was in Braveheart, wasn't
it? Victory. And then before we move on to some actual football chat, now this one's kind of one that we've been laughing about, and it's kind of also pisses me the hell off. To be fair.
Here we go. James's rant for the week.
Well, no, dude, fuck this bitch. Dude, Annie Aluko, I hope I'm saying that right. She's now come out. Now, I don't know if you recall, it's been going out throughout the internet. She made some comments around Ian Wright. So,
yes.
Ian Wright,
Arsenal legend.
He's a pundit on multiple different shows, and he's quite a good pundit, to be fair. I think for being kind of a biased Arsenal fan, I think he has a fair view on most of the games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But she came out and made some comments to say that essentially Ian Wright's sexist, and he is holding back other women from being kind of female pundits.
Was this because he said something about her punditry?
Yeah, like essentially making comments that like one, she doesn't really know what she's talking about a lot of the time. To be fair, but also that he's taking a lot of the jobs away.
To be fair, like I don't know if you've ever heard her punditry, but it is terrible. It's not good. She says stuff like, "Oh, they kicked the ball well," stuff like that. And you're going, that's not punditry. That's what a commoner, like a person that doesn't know football, would say.
Yeah, correct. Right? Like, all right. She used to be a player, and she supposedly should know what she's talking about. Yeah, but apparently, she just got highlight videos of just her just saying the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Saying that there are like different times within the game.
Yep.
Just stuff that just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Right? Now, she's come out because she's faced complete backlash over this. Essentially, the entire internet's just gone, you're an idiot. So she's now stepped down from co-hosting the upcoming Women's Football Awards because of all these backlash online, and has made an apology to Ian Wright.
Well, I mean, just to call someone sexist for no real reason whatsoever is...
Well, I mean, it'd
be infuriating if it was me.
You're holding back women from being a punter.
What the fuck did I do?
I'm getting offered jobs that I'm taking. What am I to do with that? Go and blame the networks.
Yeah.
But you know why she won't do that? Because then she won't get jobs.
Yeah.
So that's an easy target, and it's some way to get attention to herself.
Yep.
But it's a wrong type of attention.
Yep.
And now she's essentially saying that she has, mental anguish because people are going off at her online. You're a pundit.
The old mental health problem.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You say shit and people go, I disagree with you.
Yeah,
or I agree with you.
Or I disagree with what you say.
Correct. Yeah. Right, so after apologizing to Ian Wright, who did not accept the apology.
Good for him.
Right?
I think it's very easy in nowadays just like, oh yeah, sure, accept your apology, whatever. But good for him.
No, he wouldn't accept the apology. He expressed disappointment by her comments.
Good.
And just urged everyone, just move on.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't care. Move on from this.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to listen to her. I don't want to accept her apology. Just don't want anything to do with her.
Yeah.
So her move now, and this is to bring the light back on her and make her look like a good person, has decided, I'm just going to step back from doing the Women's Football Awards because I don't want to distract attention away from the celebration of the women's game. Shut up, dude. Shut up, dude. It's not about you. No one cares about you. If you sit there and present, no one's going to sit there and go, oh, well, let's just all talk about fucking Annie Aluko because she made comments about Ian Wright. No. Yeah. No one's going to do that. If they care enough about the event, they're going to watch the event. They couldn't care less what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's trying to elevate herself above it. It's crazy.
I have heard some of her. Like, I've never actually watched the game because obviously they're in England doing their commentary. We got our own commentary here, but I have seen the highlights of her commentary, and it is bad. It is bad. She has no one to blame but herself. So just to try to throw Ian right under the bus,
Yeah.
for her shit commentary is weak sauce.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't think anybody would want her at the fucking women's awards.
I don't think anyone cares.
No one
Like,
cares.
not one person cares about what she has to say about it.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
So,
right.
look, let's just move on to some fucking football.
Let's get on to where we're starting. We're starting in Europe, yeah?
We're starting in Europe, but why don't we start with the Europa League and the Conference League, and then we'll get
Yep.
into the results of the Champions League, which were kind of crazy this morning.
Yeah. So in the Europa League, obviously it's only been one leg played because both the second legs have been played tomorrow as of recording. So first leg, obviously we had Man U versus Athletic Bilbao. Very surprising result.
Dude, massively surprising. I was
Very surprising.
tipping Bilbao to make the final, given that it's at their home ground.
Yeah, it would have been
They
nice.
have the
yeah.
complete advantage in this.
Now, so the game ended up 3-0 to Man U. Goal from Casemiro and then a double from Bruno.
Yeah.
But the big thing was the red card for Vivian, I think his name is.
Danny Vivian.
Did you see what the red card was?
No.
Bro, so I think it was Hoyland. He's running through on goal. Now someone's crossed it in, right? And he's being pulled back by Vivian.
Yeah.
Hoyland's been pulled back by Vivian. Clear penalty. But then he gives him a red card.
Yeah.
For
this is right. This is the double jeopardy
bro,
situation.
it's full double jeopardy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking yellow card for sure. But they sent him off for that. I go, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it was very weird.
Also, my argument is, I don't think that Hoyland's getting to the ball.
It's very possible that he wasn't going to get to the ball, yeah. But it's still a tug in the box. Penalty for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no, I 100% agree with the penalty.
yeah.
But the red card, it's in the laws of the game, right? Double jeopardy was taken away.
Yeah.
So-
That's what I thought as well. But the ref went and looked at the monitor because it went to VAR.
Yeah.
So we looked at the monitor and they still decided to give it a red card. So unless we're missing something, then yeah,
Well,
I think that was a wrong idea. And then obviously that killed the game because it was 2-0 by that stage. And then Bruno Fernandes got a third one.
Yeah.
Made it
no,
3-0.
I think it was only 1-0.
No, the penalty made it 2.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
The penalty after.
Yeah. Sorry. At the time it was 1-0. Then
Yeah.
the penalty and the red card made it 2. So
Yeah.
they were down to 10, down 2-0. And then Bruno Fernandes get the third. So
I mean, but to be fair, Athletic had chances. They should have scored prior
they
to Casemiro
started. They started hectic.
They
And then all
should
of a
have put some
sudden-
away.
Yeah, exactly right. And then on the 30th minute, it was literally 30 minutes of Athletic just pumping them. And then Casemiro gets a header and they're up 1-0. You're thinking, oh, wow, surprising. But fuck, the red card and the penalty totally changed the game.
Well, Man U go in with the complete advantage now.
Yeah, so now they go to Old Trafford. They rested a lot of their players this
In this
weekend
weekend's
against Brentford.
games.
So they got fresh players. And the Williams brothers are out.
Are they out? What are they out? Well, who's injured?
Both of them.
Obviously, clearly both.
Yeah. yeah.
But what's he in? What muscle strain?
There was a foot injury for one of them, and there was something else for the other one. I'll have a quick look. But the last I checked, because I was looking at like, what's the lineup going to be, considering that like how it's going to go, and they have one with a hamstring, and then Nico Williams with a foot.
Well, there you go. I mean, look, I think that kind of kills the game for him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be obviously, Man U in the final.
Looking like it.
Subject to what happens tomorrow, but a 3-goal deficit. Not an easy one to come back from.
No, not at all. No.
But then we had the second game, Tottenham and Bodo Glimt.
Mm-hmm. And
Tottenham at home, and they started off perfectly.
hey, 1 minute.
Yeah,
I think they scored within
first
30.
minute.
They scored within 30 seconds, I think.
First minute goal. Brennan Johnson. I mean, was it a header?
I don't remember, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was a header. I think it was Madison's was a shot. I think Brendan Johnson was the header, yeah. But yeah, it was a great start. And then, look, to be fair, you look at the stats, if we can just scroll down a little bit, Tottenham had 24 shots to Bodo's 3.
Yeah.
They had 1 shot on target, which ended up being the goal because the game finished 3-1.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Which, I mean, and look,
And
maybe that goal comes back to haunt them.
100%. How many, 2-goal deficit is not that much. And now Tottenham did the same thing. They rested all their players, majority of their players because they're a pretty thin squad. But he rested Porro, he rested Van der Ven, he rested Romero, he rested his whole defense.
He rested all the players that have been injured this season.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think, look, they're in the driver's seat, obviously, right? It's
Yeah.
their game to lose going into tomorrow. But
2 goals can happen, especially with this Tottenham team.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
They can still lose the game from here. And
Yep.
what I think they need to really concentrate on is defense.
Yep.
They can't leak the goals.
They need to have Basuma or Sarr mirroring that defense, helping them out, and then just try to get. Look, you can leak 1 goal, but if they leak early, if they leak early, bro, they will crumble.
You know what Andrew's going to do? Andrew's going to play a high line.
Yep.
He's going to play a high line, and if Bottle can get in behind that,
So, it'll be interesting.
From the first game, they weren't able to.
Yeah.
I think they got lucky with their goal in the 83rd minute, but
yeah, it wasn't a great goal, but hey, that 1 goal, like you said, could prove to be the difference.
well, we'll see tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Then obviously we've got the Conference League, and obviously that's got the interest of Chelsea, who most likely should win this.
Oh, it's getting hot in here.
Oh shit! Yeah, look, finally he's got a smile on his face.
I always wear my Chelsea jersey, but yes, now there's with a smile.
Yeah, but dude, we should wear it one week when we burn it.
You want to burn me, you piece of shit?
Not you specifically, but the piece of crap jersey you wear. God, I hate it.
Oh, well, I'm just like collateral damage because you're burning my jersey.
Yeah, and we're also going to have to change that flag, I've just realised. Champion. Because
we were champions of that year.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
But on this podcast, we're the champions now, baby.
But yeah, look, the first game was 4-1. We dominated this game.
Because Jadon Sancho got a goal. That's how you know.
Hadn't scored in ages. So it was good to see him get on the score sheet. And then Madueke scored and Jackson got a double in the second half. And so it was 4-0, and then Jugarden, I guess, from wherever. They got a goal. So 4-1. This was actually Chelsea away, so now they're going to go back to Stamford Bridge. I'm assuming he's going to rest everyone for this because we've got a 3-goal advantage at home, and we've got a tough run coming in for
and you've got enough players to replace them, right?
Correct,
you can go and put in some of your youth players. Well, not even youth players.
Well, you'd have Tyreek George would start, probably Nkuku would start, even though he doesn't want to be there. You would have Gusto would probably play. Tosin will play, Jorgensen will play. We'll get those guys in, just get some game time. I expect, Dewsbury Hall will get some game time. Yeah. I expect Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, Jackson.
Maybe Lavia can play. Oh, wait.
No, I wouldn't play him. No, but he's been playing well. We will get into that later. But the big semi-final is the Betis Fiorentina one.
Well, Betis winning 2-1 away.
And look who scored.
2-1 at home with an Anthony kind of goal.
Yep. Good goal too, with his right foot. Yep.
Man, use good luck, Chuck. And we keep saying it. You know what I mean? They fuck these players, and then they go on to find the love of their life in the next team.
Yep.
Who they just have a killing for.
Well,
Everyone's
I think it's
loving Anthony.
I think what happens is they go to Manchester, they love football. They go to Manchester United, they hate football. Then they go to another team, I found my love of football again.
Yep, 100% correct.
But the big one is Fiorentina got their goal. So it was 2-0 after Anthony's goal, and then Ranieri, the captain, got their goal. So 8-2-1, they go back to Florence, and this semi-final is on.
Wow, I mean, like anyone knows, it's not easy to beat the teams in Italy.
No.
Outside of Italy, I don't think they're as strong, but when you go to Italy, it's hard.
Tough. It's tough.
Those fans are loud. Those fans, they come out in numbers.
They got the ultras.
Yep, and they don't stop. They don't stop chanting.
No. So it's going to be a very interesting semi-final.
It's a big effect, and I mean, look, if we're gonna pick anyone, I think it's going to be a Betis. I think Betis will sneak through, right? I think it may go to penalties.
I think it might go to penalties too. I was about to say the same thing. Yeah,
I think it might go to penalties.
If it goes to penalties, David De Gea is the Fiorentina. Could happen. Could you imagine David De Gea? Look, either way, there's an ex-Man U player going into the final.
Yeah, exactly right. And then, so look, I think that'll be an exciting game tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see till next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about the final, who plays in the final next week.
Now let's talk about the champion. This was insane semi-finals.
Yes.
Okay. Insane in the Arsenal PSG game. I think more for the fucking Arsenal goddamn manager's comments than anything.
He's got some interesting thoughts on how it should have gone down.
PSG managed to beat them 1-0 in the leg. And
in London. Yep.
In London.
With their weak tifo.
There's
it's weak, bro. So weak.
It's so weak, dude. Just no trophies.
One cannon.
Just one cannon.
One cannon that has gone, all right, cool.
You're not understanding how to do this, are you guys?
First time I see.
Yeah. Because, dude, look, all right. And look, there's probably an argument Arsenal should have probably got some goals in the first game. Donnarumma had a fantastic game, made a lot of saves.
Mm-hmm.
I get it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's why the fuck you get a good goalkeeper.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? They changed out their goalkeeper. They brought in Raya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if your back line gets broken, and especially against a team like PSG, they are going to break your back line. It's just there's no can we hold them out?
Yeah.
It's what can we do when they break our line? Because they're going to do it.
And having a good goalkeeper is a sure thing to try to stop that.
It's a huge help.
Yep.
And then we go into the second leg that was played this morning. And PSG come away victorious again, 2-1.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like a 2-1 where it was a competitive game. Okay? I'm sorry. But PSG completely destroyed them in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? All right.
They did have some good chances.
Well, again,
like Odegaard's one.
Odegaard was a great save.
Yep.
From Donnarumma. Great save, bro.
Great save, yeah.
Right?
It was quick, and he somehow got a hand to it and was able to palm it around the post. Cracked the shit out of it. And I don't know how he did that, but...
Because he's a great keeper.
Yeah,
That's how he did
it.
it.
Great play,
You know, 6'6".
Yeah.
And he can dive like he's 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just... That's why, again, you invest in a good goalkeeper. Everyone wants these goalkeepers that can play with their feet these days and whatever. Like, okay, that's great.
It's good.
You can play
it's
out
nice
from the
to
back.
have, right?
It gives you an additional option when you're trying to play out from the back. You want to have a defense. If you want to go from defense to attack, it's a good option to have. But I'm sorry, their main job is to stop shots. And as we've seen, and we saw not only in this game, but the other Champions League game as well, how much does a goalkeeper fucking help you?
Yep.
Because if they can make these saves, they can win you games.
Yep.
And he managed to do it on at least 2 occasions within this game. Bukayo Saka and Odegaard.
Yep.
Both had cracking shots, and he made cracking saves. He made more saves than that, but those are the 2 where I'm like...
They're the 2 big ones.
They're the game changers.
Yes, that's right.
Okay? Yeah. Both should have been goals.
Yep.
Then we've seen on the flip side, Fabian Ruiz, great technical player.
Super
May not have the
yeah.
athleticism that Saka has and Salah has and all these different types of players that gets goals. But he got into space, he got the rebounded ball, and he just hammered it into the bottom corner of the net.
Yeah, he found that he made some space for himself. So Partey heads it out, chests it down, but he makes space for himself by dummying over whoever was going for him. And then, like you said, crack the fuck out of it. Great goal. And then the funniest part for me was in the second half, Saka has the ball, goes down. PSG counterattack, right? Goes all the way to the other end. Hakimi has a shot, but I think it's Lewis Skelly. No, it's Timber.
Yeah.
Timber has his hand out, handballs it. The ref goes to the monitor, and I've seen this video of all the Arsenal fans, like it's AFC TV, and they're all watching, and they're like, oh, he's going to the thing. It's going to be a pen.
We're getting a pen.
They're clearly looking at the PSG handball, and they're like, yeah, pen. Yeah, let's go. It's back on. Oh, wait, they're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, yes. What do you think they're looking at?
Dude,
what do you think they're looking at the handball to see if Saka got fouled?
They live in a fucking fantasy world, dude. They live in a fucking fantasy world in which, for some reason, their team is so great and they have a player like Martinelli and that's going to win you a fucking Champions League. I'm sorry, it's not. You're not going to win a Champions League when you've got Martinelli out in your wing, you got Trossard as a makeshift striker.
Well, Marino started today, as you make, and you're like, bro.
Yeah, because Party's back. Like, oh, great, we've got Party.
Yeah.
And talking to the Arsenal fans, they're sitting there going, Party's going to make the difference. He'll stop PSG. How? How is Party going to stop PSG?
Party by himself. Yeah.
What's he going to do? I don't understand. You've got Vitinha, which is just ripping up every Champions League. Nuno Mendes, who's one of the biggest workhorses in the goddamn Champions League this year. And then you got Fabian Ruiz, who just dictates the play. He's almost like a new age Michael Carrick or Sergio Busquets, in which he gets the ball and he just goes, oh, I'll turn left, I'll turn right, I'll lay the ball out. Well, now there's no pressure.
He just dictates the pace of the game.
Well, I think
then even look at like Neves.
To be fair, I kind of disagree with that. I think Vitinha dictates the speed.
Vitinha does it more, yeah.
He dictates the speed of the game. Ruiz dictates the direction of the game.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So Vitinha will get the ball and goes, we need to play quick now. Turns, beats a player, plays that ball through. Bang, they're on a break.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas Fabian Ruiz gets the ball and goes, ooh, there's a lot of pressure on us right now. I'm going to turn and I'm just going to play the ball out to the right or play a switch or play it back where it takes all the pressure away from him.
Mm.
It takes, if you're putting pressure on the midfield, it takes it away. And you saw it, especially in the second half, where Arsenal came out and they were rushing everything. They're making mistakes on passes. They're trying to run through players. They're making rash tackles. And I'm like, guys, clearly this wasn't your game plan. Your game plan was obviously not to run around like a crazy person and just try and get the ball. Timber was guilty of it.
Timber got ripped all game by Vashkilia.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Everyone's been ripped by Vashkilia, to be fair. It's like, against us, I just kept watching it. I'm like, God damn, dude. Can somebody fucking break this guy's leg? Because I need him off the pitch. He's too good.
He is.
And I think that, like, the disadvantage that PSG have, and this is a crazy disadvantage to have, is that Doué and Barcola aren't the experts at finishing.
Yes. But I think Dembele did play, so he will be back for the final.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll do anything to come back to that final.
Yeah.
And then, once again, which we've said in every game, the fullbacks for PSG are ridiculous. Hakimi gets a goal in the 72nd minute, and Nuno Mendes was making breaks for fun.
Yeah.
He gets the ball and he just breaks. It's like, hey, is that guy playing winger? Oh, no, he's a
that's
fullback.
Mendes, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fullback.
Yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, on to the final for PSG.
Well, do we want to talk about Arteta's take on the game?
Oh, you want me to go on a rant?
Yes.
Is that what you want?
Dude, I always want to hear an Arteta rant from you.
Then please, why don't you give us some of the points?
Well, the main one that I heard was like he was saying that they asked him, do you think you were the better team? And he said, yes, we were the better team for 160 minutes.
Well, good math, dickhead.
Now, 90 plus 90 equals 180, so he's missed 20 minutes somewhere.
No, but they were good for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes in each game.
Yeah, it was only 10 minutes in each game.
10 minutes in each game, they were able to score all the goals.
Clearly, Arsenal were the better team for 80% of both games, you know what I mean? According to him. But then, this is the crazy part, is that he said it's justified in him saying that because the PSG bench told him that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that. I don't think the PSG bench...
You know what else called bullshit on that? Luis Enrique. He came out and he goes, nope, that's wrong. We were the better team in both games, considering we won both games.
Yeah,
right?
They did win both games. Exactly right.
I mean, look, I disagree with his comment where obviously he said, Farmers League. We're a Farmers League.
Hey.
I'm like, hang on a second, guys. You get to rest your players quite a lot, right? Because the rest of the competition in League One isn't that great. Okay, you guys have so much more money than the rest of the league. It's not funny. You have all the support. So when whilst all right, maybe it's not a farmers league, but it is a less league than what the EPL is. I get it. You've beaten the first and the second team, but we got pushed. We pushed them to the limit when they beat us, right?
Well, it went to pens, yeah.
It went to pens.
Yeah.
1-0 in each game, trading off wins. And to be fair, he's had time to establish this PSG team to that level, and Slot is in his first year. So I wouldn't say that they're beating us convincingly, but like I said, I've tipped them to be the winners of the Champions League, and I think it may happen.
I would like to counter that point though.
Go.
Please. They do have to go. They went through 3 English Premier League teams. That's not easy to do.
No. I completely agree that they did beat them, but I think it's more the fact when look at the conditions of the leagues that they're coming from. Because if you look at the French league, there is teams in there where they can rest their players.
Yeah,
they don't
I get
need to
that.
play a full squad
to
verse them before, even if it's a competitive game where they're like, we do need this win. They can take players out of it if they're versing, with some of the lower teams.
Montpellier.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get that. But when you if you just look at it from just like the winning perspective, the W's and who they've progressed against, if the Premier League is the best league in the world, they've beaten 3 teams in the best league in the world.
Yeah.
So I think that says more about PSG than the French league.
The French league. That's my point.
But it is still a good flex to have. We're from the Farmers League. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's wait till we verse them fucking next year, dude.
Oh, this guy. Revenge tour. James on his revenge tour.
Yeah, dude.
But look, PSG fully deserve this win. And I'm excited to see them in the final against
goddamn Inter and fucking Barcelona. What a game. Inter's going to be versing them after a 3-3 draw in the second leg game.
Well, no, that was the first leg.
That was the first leg. 3-3 in the first leg.
Yep.
And then Inter to come back in the second leg and win 4-3.
in extra time.
in extra time
This
after
game
some
had,
of the craziest ends to this game.
Yep.
Crazy.
This literally had everything.
Well, it did. Inter go up 2-0.
Yep. One was a pen, so we had a goal by Lautaro Martinez, who wasn't meant to play,
No.
but played.
No.
Then they get a penalty just before halftime, which Çalhanoğlu scores.
There is and the Barca fans are now arguing that it wasn't a penalty.
Please. It was.
Look, yeah.
In my eyes, it was. He goes for the ball, but I think Martinez's foot gets in front of it before he can get the ball, and he takes him out.
Listen, in a tight game like this, they're going to give that penalty away. You lunge for the ball. And look, to be fair, I don't blame the Barca player. Everyone should be lunging for the ball to get it because Lautaro Martinez, and he's most likely going one-on-one with the keeper, most likely scoring.
Yeah.
So you've got to try and get it. Gets his foot there first, it's a penalty.
Yep.
But that didn't lose the game for them.
No.
They came back, right? Eric Garcia gets a goal, followed by Danny Olmo within a 5-minute period.
By a great ball. Whoever put that ball, I think it was Pedri, puts the ball in and crack a ball for Olmo to put it, which makes it 2-2 on the night, which makes it 5-5 on aggregate with half an hour still to play.
Yes. And then it was chances both ends within the game. Both teams had chances. I think both teams hit the post.
Inter didn't hit the post. Yamal hit the post.
Yamal hit the post off a great shot.
Yeah.
And then you get Rafinha, takes a shot, gets saved by Soma, right?
I think he needs his own little segment for this, for what we're talking about. Yeah.
We'll circle back to Soma because Rafinha gets the goal, right, to give him the kind of, was it 5? 6-5 aggregate at that stage?
Yeah.
So they have a 6-5 aggregate at that stage. You've won the game from there, right? I think
Pretty much.
4 minutes or 5 minutes extra time.
So there was in the 87th minute, so that's the 3 minutes to go, plus 5 minutes of extra. So it was 8 minutes.
And for some reason, they kept pushing for another goal. And I get it, that goal would have put the game to bed until Francesco Acerbi gets a goal in the 90+3.
Yeah, 93rd minute.
Why are you not just completely shutting down the game?
Well, it was really open, like for that last goal. There was only 4 defenders and there were 3 Inter-attackers. Yeah. But their midfielders were coming through, and you would think you'd be at least 5, maybe 6 Barca players there just to shut up shop, stop any crosses.
If they get a deflected goal, then you deal with the deflected goal.
Yeah.
But Acerbi gets wrong-sided of the Barcelona defender.
Yep.
The defender lets him get in front of him, and he gets well. I mean, not an easy goal.
It was a good finish, near post finish.
Great finish. And I think this is like one of the only goals he's scored in like 2 years or something like that.
Well, I found this thing on Goal where they were talking about his journey. So he's been at like Sassuolo, he's been at AC Milan, he's been at Lazio, he's been everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. But he was at Sassuolo, I think it was about 10 years ago, and his dad passed away, right? And he just fell into a hole, alcoholic hole, right? Then, so he recovering from that, then he got cancer. So he had cancer, he was recovering from that. And he said him getting cancer actually helped him get back on track because he was too deep in the bottle at that stage.
Yeah.
Then, after he recovers from cancer, he now gets done for steroids because of the cancer. Mm-hmm. So then he's trying to work through this drug charge. And at this stage, he's going from club to club. He ends up at Lazio, where he wins a Coppa Italia with Lazio, and then Inter get him. And he hadn't scored in like whatever you said, it was a few years, right? Maybe 5 years or something. Yeah. He hadn't scored, and he goes and scores. So like to go from his journey of losing his dad, going through rehab and cancer treatments, chemo, and then steroid charges, and then gone from club to club, and now he's in a Champions League semi-final, and he scores the equaliser goal to get back into the game. It's a crazy story.
Well, it takes it into extra time.
Yep.
And then we get 99th minute goal from Fratesi.
Yeah.
To just
Good
seal
finish,
the game.
yeah.
To seal the game. And I think the most hilarious part about this is the Inter fans leaving after the Rafinha goal.
Bro.
And then trying to get back into the stadium where they're like, we're not letting you back in. And them losing their shit out the front. So we're like, police had to come to get rid of them.
Bro.
Dude, fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't there to support the team until the end. There was still, 8 minutes left in the game?
Still 8 minutes left in the game and they walked out.
To be fair, Barca came back from 2-0 down in a 5-minute period.
Exactly.
So 8 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, for one goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially when you've got someone like goddamn Soma in goals.
Yes. Let's talk about Soma.
Mate, he made one of the greatest saves I've seen in Champions League history, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That save where ball comes across, he's going weak footed, shifting across the goal, ball gets put into kicked. And look, to be fair, they probably could have had a better shot. But at no point do you ever teach someone that if you're in front of goals, just make sure you tuck it into the corner. No, just hit it at the goal, and most of the time it's going to be a goal. He comes, not only just gets a hand to it, but palms it down to the ground.
Yeah.
With strength.
Yeah. And recovers the ball and just gone.
So if I'm looking at both these games, man of the match in both for me, Soma and Donnarumma.
Yeah. Yeah. And Soma made more than just that. He had one where Yamal was going for the top post, top corner, tipped that one out.
Yep.
Then there was another one where they've had a shot and he's I think it was Yamal again. Yamal's had a curling shot and he's tipped it around the post and you're just going, it's at that stage where just go, there's nothing I can do to get past this guy.
Correct. Because
I know they scored 3 goals
at the 6-yard box to score, and you can't curl it from outside the box.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do I shoot from? You know what I mean?
I know he conceded 3 goals, but he still put off some cracker saves.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, the 3 goals that he conceded, there was no errors in them.
No.
They were just like the Danny Olmo one was just a great ball in.
Yep,
The
great ball and
Rafinha
header.
one, he made the save.
Yeah, and
just unfortunately it landed straight back at Rafinha for a second shot at it.
And the Eric Garcia one was also a great cross and great finish. You know what I mean? So the 3 goals that he conceded, he couldn't do anything about them. And it was the same in the first leg. Remember he scored an own goal?
Yep.
Rafinha has the shot, comes off the crossbar, off his back.
Yes.
Now, the big point about this is when they named the draw, I said Inter would win. After the round of 16, you said PSG will win.
PSG will win. So who's going to be right here, man? That's it. We've got one game to do it. And look, here's what I think PSG is a better one-game team. That's where I lie on it. But obviously, I'm biased because I want PSG to win, so I'm right.
Yep.
But look, it's going to be a very interesting game.
And I think this will be battle of, for me, the best wing backs in the world. You got Hakimi and Nunez. For PSG, and then you got Dumfries and DeMarco Inter. Now I've always said DeMarco and Dumfries do have the best wing backs in the world, and then you counter with
I think
which is
Hakimi
fair, you know what I mean?
and Mendes is the two best rival, and I think they're the best for different reasons. I tend to think Inter has a better defensive fullbacks. I think that PSG's attack out of their fullbacks is considerably better.
Yeah.
Where I think PSG is going to win, I think their midfield's better.
So this is going to be interesting, right? Because they both play different formations. So PSG have the 4-3-3, whereas Inter play a 3-5-2, right? So but pretty much what Inter do is they turn it into a 3-5-2 as well with Hakimi and Mendes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they could almost change it into a 4-2-4.
Pretty much, yes.
You know what I mean?
They could, yeah.
They can drop because Vasquilla gets so far back that he's
crazy.
almost in the midfield constantly playing as like a midfielder rather than a winger. And then you've got Mendes and Hakimi pushing up so much that you allow for either Barcola or Doué or anyone to slip in with Dembele as another striker. You know what I mean? So it's just. Or vice versa, you can have Hakimi going into striker because they're just so athletic and getting up and back. And Vasquilla is such a good cover. So I'm yet to see a fullback that stopped Vasquilla this season in the Champions League.
Which will be interesting because now he'll be up against Dumfries and the Inter centre backs because they play 3 at the back, so they'll obviously be covering.
Yep.
With Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu playing as the midfielders with Barella. So. I mean, don't get me wrong. Inter's midfield's still good. Barella, Çalhanoğlu, and Mkhitaryan, another fucking Man U player.
Yeah. Good luck, Chuck, baby. They've just gone on to just do better things.
Yeah, exactly. But super keen for this final. I've said Inter from when they had the group stages done, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah,
Sticking with it.
That's it. Well, 1st of June.
1st of June. So we still got about 4 weeks until that happens, but very excited for that game.
100%. Why don't we jump into the match day 35 games?
Yeah. So look, we'll go quick because we've still got a fair bit to go. But look, I got 8 this week.
Hey,
I think this is the best round out of the year.
And this is one of my worst rounds of the year.
So what'd you get?
I got 3.
That puts me
1 point behind.
One behind. I'm back, baby.
Yeah, he's back. 1 point behind me. With three match days left to go.
There's 30 games left. I can do this.
30 games left.
But look, let's run through the results really quickly. So first game was City Wolves. So I had City in this one.
Yeah, see, I went Wolves.
Yep.
And to be fair, I probably should have got the Wolves stick.
I think that you should have got the Wolves. This is now the second game in a row. City have had a team just hit the post on multiple occasions.
Yeah, I think was it 3 times.
I got 2. Nuri hit the post and Cunha hit the post.
Yeah.
Whether there was another one in there I might have missed, you might be right. But look, KDB gets the goal in the 35th minute. Great play by Doku. And
just proving again, KDB still has a place in the Premier League.
And there's big rumours. Apparently you guys are going for.
Well, yeah, because he's a free, right?
He's a free.
So he's a free.
Dude, I would take KDB in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think, and I've been arguing with Sam on this, to be fair. One of our friends who's also a Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that he's the right fit for the club. I'm like, dude,
KDB fits into any team.
you're on crack. I'm like, I go, dude, if he comes, and obviously the conversation is you're not a starter within the team, right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be on the bench.
Yep.
Because you're not gonna be able to play every game. But like he's proving with Man City, if you need a goal, you need a result, you need the right ball in, he can produce it.
He can easily
And that's what he does.
Yep.
He's super competitive.
Yep. And I think that would be whoever gets it. Now, it'll just depend on what he wants to do. Is he willing to stay in the Premier League and be a backup? He would start some games, but majority would be your main 3 now, right? But what great cover would you have? Oh, KDB on the bench.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah. Oh, well, we
don't want that.
We're down a goal. Bring on KDB.
Exactly, yeah. The next game was the Villa game.
Yeah.
So, look, I had Villa in this one.
I think it was a pretty straightforward win for Villa. I think the only comment really here is Daniel Marlin. The guy can create chances, but he's like a Darwin Núñez, man.
He hit the crossbar
in
the 95th minute. He loves to do that. He did go on a nice run. He does get into great positions. It's just, his finishing needs a little bit of tweaking. But, I had Villa in that one. Next game will be Leicester Southampton. Now, I got this one wrong. I went for the upset of Southampton.
I thought it was going to be a draw.
I would have gone draw, really. But look, main point about this, Jamie Vardy gets his goal, 199.
And he's one more.
He's 3 games to get 1 goal, and he'll hit 200 for Leicester, which would be fucking awesome.
Who have they got in their run in? Let's just pull that up for a second so we can kind of see if he's got a shot at getting his 1 goal here. So
they got Forest away.
So they got Forest away.
Ooh. Ipswich at home.
That
would be great for him.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I think he may be able to do it.
First goal scorer against that
Jamie Vardy.
In that
that's
game.
a good bet.
I think that's a good bet. Yeah. The other funny part was, I don't know if you saw the referee get knocked out.
I did, and then he went and blew the whistle.
Yeah, so Jamie Vardy was on his shit today. He scored a goal and he was acting like a dickhead.
Blew his whistle for a foul. He's a legend.
And then look, he did try to get a free kick at the end of the game, hit the wall, but it didn't happen to try to get his 200. But 1 more goal for Jamie.
Well, we hope so because we already know he's going to leave.
Yes,
we're all got fingers crossed that he goes to Wrexham.
No, I'd love for him to go to Wrexham. It means he would play Leicester in the championship as well.
Imagine he did some shit housery and celebrated against Leicester.
Bro, that would be next level if he did that.
That'd be great.
The next game was Everton Ipswich. Now, I had a draw in this game.
I had Everton.
Which I was very lucky because Everton went up 2-0. One was a cracker goal from McNeil. Yeah. But the first goal from Ipswich from Enciso.
You're calling for goal of the season.
I'm calling this goal of the season. This was a cracker goal. He gets the ball from about 40 yards out, dribbles a couple times, and just cracks the fuck out of it and beats Pickford. And even Pickford was like, fuck, what do you do?
Shook his hand.
Yeah, he shook his hand.
Yeah, he shook his hand. Fuck, well done.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Can't do anything about that.
That's it. But and then look, Ipswich got the equalising goal in the 79th minute, so that was the draw.
Well, then we had...
This is the second game I got wrong. Yeah. And I got big comments on this. All right, so Arsenal played Bournemouth. I had Arsenal, obviously.
Everyone had Arsenal,
Thinking
dude.
they would have at least played. Look, if you looked at the scoreline, you would have thought Arsenal must have put out their second string team.
They have a huge Champions League game coming up.
Yeah.
You know what would be good if you had every player at 100%.
What does Arteta do? He outsmarts himself and he puts the full team on.
Damn, that guy's smart.
Yeah,
He's so smart, dude. He knows math. He knows football.
He knows how to turn on a light bulb.
Oh, fuck, that light bulb chat is ridiculous. Thomas Edison made the light bulb.
I feel sorry for his teammate.
It doesn't work. Imagine standing there. Imagine sitting there going, what about football, right?
Wait, is this to hype us up for a game? Because I'm not getting hyped up from this at all.
It's insanity.
Look, the only player that didn't start was Marino. Everyone else from the Champions League game started in this game. And you're playing Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to lose with your juniors. Don't lose with your full squad. They all played 60, 70, 90 minutes. Like, ridiculous. Maybe that was the reason why they lost. Anyway, look, they open up the scoring, but then with Rice, but then the long throw comes into play and Hoyson gets it. Dude, what have we been saying all year?
Dude,
nothing
throws,
wrong.
Long balls.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand why every team has to play out. Anyway, we keep saying
we've been through this so many
times.
on
it again.
And then, look, Evan Nielsen scores in the 75th minute. Now, just to note, Bournemouth, that win was the first time they've ever won at the Emirates.
Yeah, well, I mean, rightly so. Bournemouth are not a team that should be winning at the Emirates.
No.
They should not be, and yet they do.
That they do.
So
yep.
Look, after we go through these games, we're going to look at the run-in and who we think may come up.
Yep.
And we're going to say that the funniest thing would be if Arsenal lose the next 3 games and don't make the top 5.
Fuck, imagine, bro.
I will not only subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, I will comment on every video.
Oh, my God.
This is the greatest thing ever.
Next game's Brighton-Newcastle. So I had a draw in this one.
Yes, I went Newcastle.
Well, look, to be fair, Brighton are up 1-0. Minter scores against his former club.
Something for me.
Yeah. And then Newcastle had 2 penalties overturned in the game. Both of them were rightly overturned.
I love the Willock one where he runs in. It's such an obvious dive.
There was so much air between both their feet, and you just go to the one and you're like, bro, you're never getting that. And then
I loved it, like his face, like, oh, what?
Yeah,
and you're like, come on, bro,
crazy man. Yeah. But then they finally get a pen called for them.
They actually get a real penalty,
which was a handball. Unlucky, the guy's turned his back and his hand's sticking out, but because it was on target.
It's a penalty.
You got to give it.
There was a penalty.
Yeah, and then Ishak gets it. So that was 1-1. Next game, Brentford Man U. I had Brentford in this one. I thought that was pretty easy.
Yeah, I had Brentford as well.
But looking at the score, it actually didn't.
You would think the game was a lot closer than what it was.
Correct. But Diallo did score in the 95th minute to get it to 4-3. So game ended 4-3. Luke Shaw nearly scored an own goal in the 3rd minute, which I thought was hilarious because he does score an own goal later on in the game.
It was a pretty harsh own goal, to be fair.
It was shit own goal, but it was just funny how he nearly scored one and then he's like, oh, no, I'll fix this.
Yeah. Please. Here's something I tried earlier. Fucking idiot.
But Shard got a double.
He's turning out to be quite a little player.
He has been he hasn't been like a consistent player in terms of goals and assists, but he has popped up from time to time. Mm-hmm. And he's been a good little player for them.
And I will say, Garnacho's goal was a thing of beauty.
That was a beautiful goal.
It was a beautiful
This is what
goal.
we know he's capable of, but he just hasn't been able to produce it since.
Well, and
Amram
also he
got
leaks
there.
a bunch of the team list to his brother's fucking Instagram and Twitter accounts. So, that's not great either.
Next game, West Ham Spurs.
Yep. West Ham Spurs.
Look, I had a draw in this one.
Pretty boring game, to be fair.
Look, it was a boring game. Finished 1-1.
As Spurs do, they rest players.
Crazy, right? So look, Man U did the right thing in resting their players because they can't be relegated and they can't go above 15th. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really matter, right? Same with Spurs. They can't be relegated and they can't go above 15th. Yeah. So they rested most of their players because I don't know. There's a massive Europa League semi-final coming up.
It could be the first trophy their fucking team has won in like 30 years.
Yeah. And what does Arteta do? Yeah. I'm going back to him, I know, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude, I don't either because he's the biggest retard in the league at the moment. It's crazy. If I was an Arsenal fan, I don't know how they're shouting Arteta out. I don't understand.
We will bring this up in a later one, but just have a think about who would you replace him with?
Okay.
Right?
We'll talk about it at the end of the season.
Yeah, end of the season, we'll talk
after
about
they
it.
go
Yeah.
trophyless again.
Hey, but they made top 4. This is like deja vu from like 10 years ago.
Oh, Liverpool didn't get as many points as we did in the last 2 years. Cool, man. Then fucking beat us. So, if you got more fucking points.
While Liverpool's holding up the title?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, you got less points than us in the last 2 years. Cool, man. Then it should have
bro.
been easy for you guys to beat us. Dickwads, bro.
Do you want to leave the Chelsea game to last? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so the game that was played last was Palace Forest. I had a draw in that.
Yeah, I mean,
Ended up
good
being a
pick.
draw.
I had Palace.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought the Forest was out of form.
Forest are a bit out of form at the moment. They've dropped. They've come from 3rd, and I think they're down to 6th now. So they have dropped out. But Eze gets a pen, and then Murillo gets a goal 4 minutes later. So scrappy. It was pretty much a scrappy game, which you would expect from these two teams at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
But ended a draw. And then the last game, which I had Chelsea.
Well, I had Liverpool. And to be fair, like in hindsight, I was picking with my heart on that one. Realistically, all of our players had just been partying all week, and we played a weak side.
Which is what I pretty much was hoping for when I did pick Chelsea. I was like, I'm hoping you guys party all week.
And to be fair, Slot came out and said that he was going to play players that haven't normally played. Like the writing was on the wall.
It was there.
I just had faith in the boys that they'd just come through. But like, I think the one comment in this is Jarrell Kwanzaa has to get sold. I'm sorry.
Bro,
Like,
all 3 goals were
his fault.
involving Kwanzaa.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Kwanzaa didn't make the run with Enzo, who scored the first goal. He then did I feel sorry for the own goal.
Yeah.
Fucking Van Dijk
kicks it straight into him.
straight into his nuts.
Yeah.
Nothing to do about that.
Spewing.
And then look, the third one, he gives away the penalty. Soboslai's fault. It was a bad pass.
Yeah.
But at that stage, it was 1 minute to go. They were just playing with it. By that stage, you guys didn't really care.
You look at the midfield played, right? Like
You had Endo.
We had Endo, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott.
Yes.
Right? It's our weakest midfield 3.
Yep.
And when you look at that on paper, you go, I don't think we...
Correct.
Especially away from home.
And especially like with the 3 midfielders that we played. We had Caicedo, Enzo, and Lavia.
Yeah.
Right? 3 much better players than Enzo and than Endo and the rest of them. So
and then look, in true fashion, Van Dijk gets his headed goal.
it's a good goal.
Right?
Good goal. You know what the funny part about it is? Like Madueke is marking him. And I'm thinking, why the fuck is Madueke marking Van Dijk? He's like double the size.
This is the same thing when we had Alexis McAllister marking Shah
in the final.
In the final,
he's got-
right? It's the wrong person to be marking him.
Why?
Sorry.
I think they do this thing where they're like players like blockers. Like,
Well, I think they do zonal, right? They
Yes,
just
they
do
do
zonal.
zonal, yeah.
They just do zonal. You're going to mark in this kind of certain zone. Realistically, a big guy shouldn't be in that zone.
yeah.
Bet he was.
Yeah.
Right? And he got the goal.
Couple other points. I don't know if you saw Nunez's headed chance. Nunez, your boy.
Darwin Nunez's.
Yeah.
Look.
Bro, someone whips in a ball. I think it's Trent O'Connor. They whip it in and he heads it. And say this is the goal. He heads it there.
Yeah.
And you're going, bro, I think it's time to cut it.
And look,
I think it's
he's the one
time.
where he kept pulling me back in.
Yes.
Multiple times. I'm too far gone.
I think you guys have to
The
just
line,
cut it.
if I was a fisherman, that line broke and the fishes swam away, dude.
There's just a bunch of knots in this line. I got to cut this shit. I need a new one.
And it's too far gone, right? There's no bait on the line. There's just no bites. It's just not happening.
Nah.
And look, to that point,
Sorry, just one more. Cole Palmer scored a goal.
he needed it.
19 games he went without a goal.
Fuck, he needed it.
But you know he still has the same amount of goals as Saka.
This is what I mean. Like, this is the delusion of Arsenal, where they're just like, Saka. What were they doing? They had an interview, right, with Arsenal Fan TV and all the Arsenal fans at the front. And they go, Champions League, but you lose Saka, or no trophies and you keep Saka. And they're like, keep Saka. I'm like, fuck for. Fuck for. Like, what is he doing for your team? Like, I get it. He is a good player.
He is a good player.
He is a good player.
Good young English player.
But is he going to get better? Because he's had all the games to get better. And I get it. Oh, he's young. Yes, but he's played 200 Premier League games.
Yeah.
So
It's some stage you got to see progression, right?
This is the same thing when they kept Wenger on for so long,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Yeah.
just kept coming forth and they just go, well, who's better that we're going to get? I don't fucking know, man, but get someone. Change something. This is like, it's like the person that's with a terrible woman and you just go, I mean, yeah, but
It's not really their fault.
what if I can't find anyone better?
Sometimes
Well,
it's
you're never going to know if you stay there.
Sometimes there's some money issues.
Yeah.
That sounds exactly like Arsenal.
Yeah. They just, if we just had a striker, then buy one.
Exactly.
They
They had
just go,
two transfer
well,
windows to buy a striker.
we're just not going to buy any striker. Well, so buy no one?
Yeah, so buy no one.
You know what?
Yeah.
For what reason? You've had they go, but it's, it's a project. Dude, it's 5 years.
It's a fight. This is the 5th year now.
This is the 5th year. Okay?
He won one trophy, which wasn't even his team. That was Emery's team.
Yep.
He won one trophy in front of nobody.
Yes.
5 years ago. That was against us, and it still burns me. But in 5 years, you've won jack shit.
And then you go.
We've gone on to win fucking Champions Leagues and Club World Cups and whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
These guys are still in the same project. We're in our 4th project now.
Yeah. Yeah, but not everyone can spend $1.8 billion, man. Okay?
I'm not proud of that. I'm really not
But
proud
look,
of that.
why don't we jump onto the table, right?
Yep.
And see where we can end up.
Yes.
Down off the screen a little bit. There we go.
Hey, man. We're the show here.
Yeah. But look, let's look at the league. Obviously, Liverpool first. That's never going to change.
That's not changing.
We've,
Yep.
we've won the league now.
Yep.
Now it's anywhere from Arsenal all the way down to 7th with Villa that
Yeah.
could potentially change what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 3 games to go. Pretty much any of these teams can drop out
Yeah.
of that top 5.
Correct,
Right?
yeah.
Top 5 gets the Champions League spots. And look, I don't know what's going to happen with this because there's been so many shock results
Mhm.
this year. But let's just, I've gone through and I've looked at what potentially games look like coming. So let's have a look at what each team has to play. And then we've done our own little prediction as well.
Yeah.
So we've got, if you look at Man City, look, I'm pretty certain they're going to be in that top 5. Their last 3 games are Southampton, Bournemouth.
They could all be away. They should win all 3 of them.
So
though.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I think they're winning. They're winning at least 2 of those 3.
They
which
should
will
get
be
at
enough.
least, I think, at least 7 points.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
should
going
get
to
at
win
least
2
7
of those 3, which will be enough for them to stay
Correct.
in that top 5.
Yep.
I think Newcastle have one of the harder runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've got you guys this weekend.
We are obviously pushing for Champions League as well. Yep.
Well, you're in the same position as them.
Correct. Yeah.
Then you've got Arsenal in the same position as them.
I know they're in the best position because they're second, but
Mm-hmm.
they still need to get points.
Well, I mean, they're only 4 points
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
And then you've got Everton, right? And Everton has proven not to be very easy in this back half of this.
Yeah. David Moyes has really turned them into a real rugged, gritty team. So you're right. There won't be an easy game.
Then for Chelsea, they've got Newcastle, Man U, Forest.
Now-
Again, 2 of those teams are fighting for... Sorry, two of the teams are fighting for the same positions.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's going to be difficult. But I think you're lucky in a sense to have Man U.
Man U,
Because I
yep.
think they'll rest their players.
Yes, if they do make the champion, I think regardless if they make the Europa League final or not, I think they will rest their players because I don't see their players wanting to play if they do lose. But then obviously if they win, and they get in the final, they're going to rest everyone. So that's a good thing for us. And then look, Forest, we'll talk about them now. But I think that they have, out of the top 7, they have the worst form. They've got the worst form out of all.
I tend to agree. I
all
think that,
6.
especially with Wood up front, he's just been off his game.
Ever since he came back from New Zealand in that international break, he just hasn't picked up the form. Now, to be fair, look, he's already had his best season ever, so I think he's done what he can. But if Forest if they do want to push for that top 5, he needs to get back into form.
Yeah, and it's quite possible. And I think they've probably got an easier run than some of the others with Leicester this weekend, West Ham, both out of form.
Yep.
And then, look, you guys on the final day. And it could come down to the final day.
It really
whether or
could
not
come
they
down
can-
to the final day. 100%.
And I think it's going to be an exciting final day from the aspect of the top 5.
Yes.
And then, look, the final team that can really compete is Villa. And they've got the easiest run in.
I think they got the easiest
They're
run.
by far the easiest run in. They've got Bournemouth out of form, Tottenham out of form, and Man U. Tottenham and Man U will be resting players.
Yeah.
For sure. right? Well, I mean, subject to
Subject to what happens tomorrow.
to
Yeah,
what happens tomorrow.
But at the moment, they're both in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
So we're going to assume they're both going to make it. So
So-
they will both be resting players.
we did a little kind of computation on wins and losses just to kind of see where we think it'll all end up. So if we look from 2 till 7th, we're anticipating Man City to finish second,
Which I think they will get the most points out of it. I think they should win all 3 games.
Arsenal to finish in third, which is hilarious if it happens. Chelsea comes in 4th.
Yep.
Villa comes in 5th.
Yep.
Newcastle comes in 6th, just misses out
Just
with
missing.
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And
I
look,
think that-
it could really happen, but again, this could all flip.
Oh, 100%.
I could see Newcastle winning all the games.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I
Because
could
again,
see-
if they hit their form, they can.
I think, and Villa winning all their games as well, that could put a lot of pressure on like Chelsea and,
Well, they're
and
probably-
even, I know City will probably win all their games, but if they don't, Villa's going to be right up their ass.
And I think Villa's probably the most informed team out of those teams at the moment.
City and Villa, they'd be my 2. City and
I
Villa.
think City's been more lucky than form, dude.
Fair enough. That's a good call.
You know,
Yeah.
I think the other teams have had the opportunities to win the game, and they've gotten kind of lucky where they hit the post,
Yep.
or you know, it's a missed shot or been called offside, whatever it is. They've just been lucky not to concede.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not like they're dominating like they did. I think there's a couple players in the City team doing well. Doku,
Yep.
he's doing,
Doku's
he's
looking
doing
good.
very well.
KDB, he's on his farewell tour at the moment.
And then when you look at Villa, but all their players are playing great. I think if they didn't lose Rashford, it would be a very different conversation you're going to have.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
He's a big threat.
Yeah, but I think they do have the best run going in. So I think they'll be very like anyone in those top positions. You just got to try to get as many points, and especially Chelsea. We need to just start this week. If we can get at least a point at Newcastle, that will put us on a good footing going forward.
Well, why don't we just do our tips for this weekend?
Yes.
And see what we think's going to happen. So, first game we've got is Southampton City.
City.
I've gone City as well.
Yeah, they need to win. so.
Have we ever tipped fucking Southampton to win a game this season?
Yeah, last week and I was wrong.
Then we've got Fulham and Everton.
I've gone draw.
I've gone draw as
Yeah,
well. I don't think either team give a shit about anything.
Both those teams, more Fulham teams to play it, like we've been saying all year, they play at the level of their competition.
Yeah.
And now I see it happening again.
Then we've got Wolves and Brighton.
I've gone draw in that one.
I've gone Wolves.
To be fair, Wolves, I don't know if you know this, they were up to 13th now.
Yeah, dude, I was tipping them to be relegated, and I was looking like that was a great fucking tip. They couldn't win a game for shit.
Yeah.
And now you look at them in
New
like,
manager comes in and
Yep.
fucking turns
turns
it
around. They had the quality there all along.
Yep.
Then we had Ipswich, Brentford.
I got Brentford.
I got Brentford too.
Because look, I think Brentford can still push for Europa League, maybe. I don't know, but Ipswich are just done.
Yeah,
So,
and Brentford's in form.
yeah, Brentford's in form. Yep.
We've got Bournemouth and Villa.
I've gone Villa.
I've gone draw.
I would hope for that. That would be great for me.
Yeah.
But I just think that obviously they're pushing, and Bournemouth like we said, they haven't been playing very well.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did just beat Arsenal away, which is a great win. But
I think they're just going to ride on that kind of confidence
I hope
against
so.
Arsenal.
I hope so, yeah.
Because that was a full strength Arsenal team, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is Bournemouth at home.
yes.
So then we've got big game Newcastle versus Chelsea.
Bro, my heart. There's no way I'm betting against them in this game. We need a
Yeah.
win. We need a win for this one. So I'm definitely going Chelsea.
And I've gone Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean Newcastle at home, fair point.
yeah,
Their
and-
attack is cracker at the moment as well.
Well, Ishak's cracker at the moment.
Yeah.
And Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes, yeah.
And
Murphy's
also you've got
chipping in every now and then.
Aaron Gordon back.
Aaron Gordon is back, yeah.
So
yeah.
there's some big threats there. They
Yep.
weren't that promising in attack in the last game.
Yeah.
They were trying to get more penalties and goals, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Then we've got Man U and West Ham.
Dude, I'm going draw.
I've gone draw too.
I don't know how these
I
teams...
could see it being 0-0.
I could see West Ham winning 1-0.
I could see any result happening in this game because I
Yeah.
don't know what team Man U's going to play, right? We know what team West Ham's going to play. It's unimpressive.
It's not impressive at
None
all.
at all.
Yeah.
Then we've got Forest and Leicester.
Yeah, Forest.
Well-
I hope for a draw. I think it would be nice if Vardy can get his 200th goal.
Yep.
It'd be nice for a
It
draw,
could
but
happen, but again, Forest has
Forest
been
are-
so strong.
obviously better at home
Yeah.
as well.
Then we've got Tottenham and Palace.
I've gone draw.
I've gone Palace because
Yeah.
I just think Tottenham's going to rest so many players.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the last game, Liverpool and Arsenal.
I've gone Livo.
at Anfield. I've gone draw.
Because this will be your first game at Anfield since you won the title.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a nice little celebration.
Yeah.
And Arsenal are still recovering from their PSG loss.
And then look, I think in typical Arsenal fashion, they're going to try and push hard for the game because I think if they win, they'll just be like, oh, well, we beat the guys that won the league.
Yeah.
You know, we should have won. If we didn't get injuries, we should have won the league. See, we didn't have injuries and we beat Liverpool.
Sorry, scroll down a little bit. Scroll down just a touch. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the 13 draws that you had.
Yeah.
It has all to do with injuries, right? It has nothing to do with that you didn't buy a striker to turn those 13 draws into maybe half of them into wins.
If they halve those draws, they win the league.
Yeah, so if you add 12 points, say you add 12 points, that gets them to 79. They're still 3 points behind.
Yeah, there's an actual competitive league. So
this is why you go out and buy top strikers so they can turn draws into wins. All I'm saying.
Dude, I just don't even listen.
Let's stop talking about them.
Yeah,
I could literally do a whole episode on just Arsenal, their fans,
we might
the
even.
way the club's run.
At the end of the season, we may do that. Now let's jump across to our fantasy.
Oh,
see how
God.
we went for
Do
the
we
week.
really have to? Look, man, I left on a high. Chelsea won, got my tipping good. Do we really have to bring me down with this bullshit that I've just done?
It's time for bed, man. We need
Damn
to
it.
calm you down.
Damn it.
Okay. Hey, dude, I didn't do that great either, right? I got 45 points this week. This is kind of above the average.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just had a dismal season after I used my goddamn fucking
Changes, bro. It just changes
I know,
teams.
I know. But no, at least I captained Ishak this week, which is a good one.
That was a
And he
good
got
move,
lucky
yep.
at the end.
Yep.
With the pen. Minter finally did something for me.
Bro, when
And
was the
got
last
the
time we
9
fucking
points.
scored a goal?
Dude, I put him in and he got a couple and I was like, this is great. And then he just proceeded to be terrible. And then Wissar, who's been pretty solid for me since I put it in, was all the points that I really got.
Yeah.
So it was decent.
Nice.
And
Can I just say, I know you were complaining about that, but way better than what I did.
Yeah, look,
way better. I got 33, right, which is well below the average. The only players that did anything for me was I captained Mbeumo, who got 1 assist out of 4 goals,
and you had Ishak.
and I had Ishak, who I probably should have captained, but you know, is what it is. That is literally all that happened. But even on my bench, all garbage.
Yeah.
Nothing
We
happened.
got 3 out of Henderson.
Yeah, I could have got an extra 2 points. Woo!
Baby.
Yeah, but literally every single defender conceded a goal. All my midfielders, bar Mbeumo, did nothing. And Marmoush and Cunha played against each other, and it happened to be a 1-0 game. So,
Well, you know, look, what can you do? Right? I think we've got to give up on us winning the entire fantasy league this year.
I thought we were close, man.
You know, until we start up our own league next year.
We are going to start up our own league next year.
Try and build on that. We'll have our own tipping comp next
Yep.
year as well.
Yep.
So, you know, we'll sign everybody up to that and see how people go against us.
Yeah, can't wait.
Instead of us
Yeah.
against each other.
That'll be proper.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But until next week, guys, take it easy.
Bye.